I start, wait, are you ready?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Neon Valley Media Club. Right?
NVMC.
Yep. Same acronym as it was before. That's why it's easy. Because that's why I was like, dude, we should make it Media Club because then I don't have to change anything. It's still NVMC. It's the show where we suggest movies to each other that the other person hasn't seen. I wanted to almost call this They Haven't Seen. Like, I think that's a pretty good show name. Like, They Haven't Seen.
But one of us always has. Is that the rule? Does one of us have to have seen it?
Well, also, again, Mitchell, you're being very closed-minded. They refers to a singular person nowadays. I need you to keep up. I need you to keep up, okay?
I'm sorry. I'm legitimately sorry if that triggered anyone.
Last week, I suggested to you Five Nights at Freddy's. And
you did.
We are actually starting a slightly new format here, where we are going to be giving our initial ratings right at the beginning, like right at the get-go. But the caveat is
you're gonna get it.
They could and probably will change by the end of the episode. We always end up convincing each other and swaying each other at least a point, I would say, in either direction.
It's like our gut reaction, and I think with anything, right? You see something, you taste something once, you have a feeling about it. And then you talk about it and you discuss it and you think more about it and you get insights from other people.
It's kind of like if you're at it's like a snack that you try and the first bite, you're like, oh man, that's pretty good. You have another bite and you're like, you know what? That is good. But then you take the third bite and you're like, ooh, do I want a whole bag of this? Now your entire opinion's changed. A snack that went from a 10 out of 10, now after the third bite, it might be like a 7.
I also feel like that analogy doesn't necessarily track because in that instance you're going back to the same thing. You're not getting someone's opinion on that
but
food.
You're talking about okay. I see what you're saying. My point was that you're just revisiting it. Okay.
All right. I'll give it to you there.
We're gonna count down from 3. Are you ready? So for Five Nights at Freddy's, we give it a 3, 2, 1, 3 out of 10. 6?
Yes.
Wait, what did you give Willy's? What did you give Willy Wonderland?
I think that was like a 7.
Oh my god. I mean, I don't think
it was an 8.
I mean, I agree with you. I think it actually might be worse than Willy's Wonderland upon my second watch. I'm going to be completely honest.
Which is funny because you almost were saying, wow, is FNAF that much better? And now it's like, no, apparently it wasn't.
No,
but
because
probably not for the reasons that you think.
No, and I'm going to be honest, it only is because of the rewatch. Originally, I would have given this a 4 out of 10. That was my initial gut reaction going into this before rewatching it. But having rewatched it, like I'm not going to get into detail because we're going to talk about it more. For now, I'll just say that there was something about a rewatch that made me realize how slow and droning and boring and how much nothing happens in this movie. It's like it hypnotizes you into thinking something is happening the first time you watch it, and then the second time you're like, wow. But we'll get into it. So what were your? Let's get into our normal kind of conversation here. So we have our numbers. We got a 3 and a 6. All right, it's not too big of a span. Our numbers are very different as well. So how'd you feel? What were your initial thoughts going into it?
So this is a little bit different than a lot of the movies we watch, right? Because you and I have followed the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's since we were in our first apartment together.
Yeah, we have context.
So it's not like with these movies we're typically recommending something that the other person not only hasn't seen but probably doesn't know very much of. But we're recommending a movie that we're both familiar with the history of it. So
really quick, I should make clear that we haven't really played many of the FNAF games, if not most of them.
We watch a lot of YouTubers play them.
Yes, and got really into the lore diving, and I did play Security Breach, got into that one, the most recent one, yeah. And I was trying to come up with what would Matt Pat's followers be called? The Matt Thoughts? The Matt Thoughts? The Horists?
So that's theorist.
That's the fourth light on his circle.
Well, now it's fashion.
Now it's just a horror theory. No, that's only the third one, isn't it? I think he still has a fourth slot.
It's games, cooking, movies.
Oh,
and
you're
fashion.
right. You're right. Everyone wanted him.
That's just a theory. A theory.
Everyone wanted him to do music theory, and I'm glad he didn't. I hated that idea.
It was also like, it's really hard for me to do it when I can't play the song.
True.
And I was like, that would make it a really difficult. But also, music theory is a thing.
Well, that's because I can't believe we're getting into this conversation. But you know what? It's Matt Pat. It's a FNAF video. Fuck it. Let's talk about this. I actually genuinely think it's interesting. Yeah, my thing about that is like, what would it have been? Would it have been literally music theory where he like breaks apart songs and shows how they use music theory to do this? Or would it be conspiracy theories based on songs? Like if you play Kiss backwards, it says,
that's what I was
worship the devil.
Gonna be.
But then how far does that go beyond? Isn't that crazy when you listen to that?
Because most of those are not. And most of those would be him just debunking. And I think again, the things that I've always liked about his channel is there's usually something to it. There's something really interesting. There's some parallels that you can make. And again, it is a theory, but sometimes these things do come to fruition. But something like that is more about, oh, this is interesting, but here's actually what's happening.
Yeah. I will admit, if I'm throwing any type of shade, I can always tell when a video of his recently is written by his writers and not him. Does that make sense? Like,
oh, interesting.
I feel like there's certain videos, because he has a huge team now compared to like even 3 or 4 years ago. He's got like an insanely big team.
Actually partnered with a company that helps do a lot of things behind the scenes now.
Yeah, and it's almost like I can tell when his voice isn't in it. Like the most recent GTA video, I felt like he didn't write that or have any kind of like, he didn't care. Because when has Matt Pat ever talked about Grand Theft Auto before ever? So it's not like he has passionate about it or knows much about the lore. So it was probably like written for him, and that's fine. I don't think that's a problem. The man is like a millionaire and runs a company and like is really good at his job. It's just that I can tell there's like a difference in voice. I don't know. I might be wrong. Maybe he's still at the helm of it entirely, but
is that just a theory? We've run this joke into the ground. All right.
We should probably talk about the movie. So what were your thoughts going into the movie?
So going into it, what I was expecting, and I had heard a little bit about it's a little bit different than maybe like a direct correlation of the game. What I was hoping for was that it was going to be a straight horror movie, that it's going to be following somebody who's being attacked, who's desperately trying to, and where I saw they did a good job of like Mike Schmidt. They didn't really say his last name, but that is the name of the guy in the first game. Vanny, who is Vanessa in the movie, because Vanny comes in the Security Breach game, which are more recent games. I thought it was interesting that they were adding people.
Yeah. Real quick, don't they say his name?
They say Mike Schmidt, and then he stops. He doesn't finish saying it.
Nobody calls him like Mr. Schmidt later or something. I thought like the doctor, or not doctor, like the teacher or something called him Schmidt. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. Anyway, go ahead.
But I was really shocked that, and the funny thing is the opening scene, I'm like, it feels like a Saw movie because he's in the chair, the mask is going to him. That happens twice. Might be the scariest thing about the movie, really.
Yeah, my first note is the intro should have been the movie. Like that intro with the security guard should have been its own movie.
It should have been somebody who's there overnight, and the movie is just the course of the night. The only thing I can imagine,
Mitchell, the title is Five Nights at Freddy's. It's not one night at Freddy's. Okay.
I'll give you that.
But it makes it dumb. Inherently, it makes it like you have to explain why he keeps coming back. When like you would assume Josh Hutcherson's character by like night 3 would just stop coming back and definitely not take his little sister back. So the movie opens up with that security guard scene, which, fun fact, supposedly, this might just be rumors, that was supposed to be Markiplier. That was his cameo. Was being
I have heard that.
First security guard.
Security.
But he got busy with the filming of Iron Lung, his new movie coming out based on another video game, horror video game, ironically. So he couldn't do it. And yeah, I actually like that opening scene. Like, yeah, I think it's dumb that the mask, like, why? What are the mechanics in those masks that, like, is that to torture someone, or is that mechanics that make the mask work? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like...
Yeah, but it was also the part that there wasn't that much, like, okay, compared to Willy's Wonderland, not nearly as much, like, horror shit. Like, I think the most, because, I mean, even the cupcake attacking the kid's face didn't feel scary. Chica biting, I think it was Chica that bit the girl's head off. It might not have been Chica.
I think it was Freddy.
Biting the chick's head off, I was like, ooh, okay, now we're getting good.
Yeah, no, it was like the top half of her body, right? Because, yeah, you only see it in the shadow, though.
Yeah.
But it's still effective, because you kind of see, like, a blood, like, even though it's a shadow, you can see the, like, in the shadow.
But that was, like, as like, intense as it got. And I don't know if part of it was they were trying to keep it friendly enough for kids to still be able to see. But
they dropped the ball.
Violent.
You're making me hate it more. They fucked it up. Willy's Wonderland was never going to be scary, and yet it tried so hard to be scary, and it was never going to work.
Yeah, at least it was violent for a horror.
And it was violent
movie.
But FNAF, it has the fucking seeds. It has the roots of something that can be scary. This kind of like Chuck E. Cheese friendly.
It could have been like a Saw level movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it should have been an insanity movie, in my opinion. I think Josh Hutcherson's character should have gone insane, and you start to question whether or not the animatronics are even really alive. Like, they start like those are the type of things. And again, I know you're going against the game, right? That might be the thing that pisses people off, but they already did that anyway. They're already going against the game on certain things.
So that was the only thing that it almost felt like, and maybe there is something more to the chair. Maybe there's something more in terms of, the lore does tie in, and it's just like a very, very deep rooted way. But if that's the case, it felt like they were so focused on tying the lore for multiple games into one movie that they forgot to make it scary. Because at no point
a good movie
did I feel on edge. Bro, at one point, the fucking animatronics are building a fort. Like, they're all laying in a circle on the floor. They've never done that in the game. And I get, like, the appeal of, they want to make the kid, one of them. But
But it's never implied. They have so many opportunities with her alone to do that, but they never do. They wait until the end of the movie. Everything is inconvenience.
He gives them permission, but they kill everyone else.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right. Because they had to ask him. We want your sister. But it's like, why? You didn't ask anybody else. And the whole yeah. I'm sorry. We're skipping ahead a little bit. But it's also
because not a lot happens other than conversation between people.
And it's acted well. Josh Hutcherson is great.
Acting was actually really well done, I felt.
The daughter is great. The Matthew Lillard, great. They're just not
Shaggy.
given anything. Like, my least favorite part, I'm sorry, I'm getting choked up thinking about it. My least favorite part, in the first time I watched it and the second time now, is that scene when Matthew Lillard reads his name and he's like, Mike, Anyway, okay, so anybody who's listening to this and not watching, I did a little charade. I did a little charade there, acting it out. And I'm not exaggerating. That's how long and drawn out this little moment he's supposed to have, where you're supposed to go, ooh, does he know who he is? But they make it so fucking obvious. And Matthew Lillard's a good actor. I know that he can be...
he's a great actor.
Subtle. Yeah, he can be subtle. So I can imagine a version of that where he's like, Mike, yeah, no, I think we have a job for you. Absolutely. Because all this movie does is tell you who the bad guy is immediately. Unless you're 5 years old, there's not a twist.
And it's also like,
I'm sorry if you didn't see it coming, and I feel bad for saying that without asking you first if you saw it coming.
oh, no. But I also, before the movie released, I think Matt Pat did a video talking about how Matthew Lillard was casted, and he had a theory that he would be William Afton.
So you kind of kept that in the back of your mind while either way.
Yeah. And again, that was the other portion, right? Going into this, I had watched theory videos on what this movie might be from Matt Pat prior. But again, even then, in the dream where the kid gets taken away and this guy sets him up with this job there, I was already like, oh, so that's definitely what's going on here. Like it wasn't subtle.
And it's the way it's acted. It's actually, no, I'm sorry. It's not acted. I would like to make that 100% clear. It's directed. It's the direction that's the problem. Like, because I'm not because this might come off weird because there is a difference. I think the movie is shot pretty well. Like the director of cinematography and the director of photography did well.
Oh, the lighting, everything. Like I felt
the
like
set designs. Nice.
It was just a story.
No, the directing is in the story. Yes, because the actors, for example, Matthew Lillard, again, when he's on the phone after Josh Hutcherson accepts the job, Mike, after he accepts it, he's on the phone and he says something along the lines of like, well, the reason he didn't get rid of it is because he's a sentimental guy, I guess. And like this same exact cadence that I just said that in, the same exact cadence. And that is so obviously like the bad guy pretending to be the good guy and be coy. It's like theatrical. And the only thing that I can imagine happened here, because I don't have proof, but I have breadcrumbs that lead us to the truth, is that Scott Cawthon had a big hand in directing the actors, but this man is not a director and really shouldn't be. And like, he's a great game creator and a world builder, and like I love the guy. It's great. I don't have an issue. But as a actor director, he's not great because he was the one. I don't know if you heard. I don't know where I heard this. It may have actually been Matt Pat himself. I'm not sure. But there was a scene they were filming when Matt Pat's there and he has to say his whole, well, that's just a theory.
Oh my God.
And Scott Cawthon originally told Matt Pat to say it bigger. He was like, do it like your video. Do it like your video. And so Matt Pat, in the middle of a fucking diner, went, but that's just a theory. And everyone on set cringed. And Scott had to go, you know what? Maybe do it another way. A little more subtle, and then we'll try to.
Because I kind of liked his little cameo in it, and I liked cute. The theory thing, just because he's been such a part of the series at this point, and I felt like they could have definitely overused it, and it sounds like they dialed back from it. So I think it was at the right point where any more of pushing it would have been much, but it was like, again.
Oh no, I just wanted to say that my point is that Scott Cawthon, if he wasn't stopped in other scenarios. You have like Matthew Lillard with that scene. I feel like him being like, he probably had another take where he's like, well, why didn't the guy get rid of it? Must be sentimental. I don't know. Like a little more subtle. I'm not a great actor. I'm not going to act like I can do it.
Yeah.
But more subtle. But then I'm sure Scott Cawthon was like, but you're the bad guy. So kind of like, you got to make it seem coy. That has to be the directing because Matthew Lillard would not do that. Like, yeah, I don't know.
So we find out, too, that Mike's aunt wants to try to take Abby to the point where she has enlisted local thugs to help her. And it's the babysitter who watches Abby. And the babysitter's actually like, Mike's actually a nice guy and doesn't want to... Yeah. She doesn't want to actually sabotage him.
Yeah.
And then she gets to the point where like she's willing to... And it was funny because... Like the lawyer's like, oh, I shouldn't be here. Well, I really shouldn't be here.
The best Doug? Dude, in my notes, I have Doug. He's the best character of this movie, man.
Yes, this doesn't make sense for a lawyer.
His face, though, was really fun. Like, that actor's hilarious looking. Like, I don't mean to be mean, but he's doing it on purpose. He's meant to look like...
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, like, yeah, it's, yeah.
But other than that, it, and I'm sure there is a ton of stuff that people who are like super big FNAF theorizers are like, you guys are missing out on all these fucking things. But we're not judging this on its ability to maintain lore or tell the story of the lore. We're basing this on its ability to be a movie.
Yeah, and not even just that, but even 100%. But even if we were to base it on the lore, I have problems with that too. Because like, it's almost like, do they try to set up red herrings that don't follow through because of the things you know about the game? Okay, so for number one, the cupcake was never possessed in any of the games. The cupcake is just part of Chica's costume. The cupcake was never possessed. That's something they made up for this movie.
I was trying to remember if the cupcake ever does the cupcake attack in the game?
Maybe the second or third game, but again, it was never a separate child. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Is that because the five children...
Oh, yeah, they never established that as a separate child.
Yeah, because the five children were always Bonnie, Chica, Freddy, Foxy, and Golden
Freddy's
Freddy.
For the cupcake attacks.
Yeah, 4. And again, I think it's not a separate child. Maybe there's new lore now. I could be wrong, but the original 5 had Golden Freddy as the 5th kid.
He
but
has
they don't
a name.
have
it's Carl.
Carl? Carl the cupcake? Oh.
And he has a gender. It's male, and his eye color is amber.
Well, you've been calling him the whole time, so I'd hope so.
I got something right finally.
There you go. Jesus, man. No, but do you know what I mean? Where it's like they're already taking liberties with that. So it's like, how much do they actually care? So, also, do you know the character Baby? Actually, she shows up.
Yes.
In the
yeah.
suit.
I saw that right away.
Why?
Isn't that supposed?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh wait, no, never mind. Because I was like, isn't that supposed to be Vanny? But I was like, no, I don't think Vanny actually is Baby in the games.
No, Vanny is her own like rabbit, like mascot thing. She's not even an animatronic. She's just Vanessa inside of the rabbit costume.
That's right. Yep.
But the thing that I didn't like is that it's almost like they purposely put things in to piss you off because you're looking at the wrong thing, I guess. Max, the girl who we were saying is hired to scope out Josh's house. I'm going to call him Josh.
Yep.
Mike's house. She has red hair and green eyes. Exactly like Baby. Like, even to the point where it's fluffed out. It's almost like they're making it seem like she should have been the one that becomes the one in the baby costume. But that didn't make sense for the story that they're doing in the movie. So they need like, okay, well, Abby should be in the baby costume. And hey, Abby, anagram for baby. Did you notice that?
Yep.
So it's she's going to become Baby. But yeah, I hated what they did with the story. The least helpful training video ever. I did write that down because it's literally just her being like, this is Freddy Fazbear's Have a Good One. Like, it's not a training video.
Yeah. I
love your reaction right now. Vanessa's introduction is hilarious. Wait, so is she actually a cop? She is actually a cop, right?
I think so. I almost thought that she was dead the whole time.
Oh.
And that's why she was always able to be where she needed to be.
That's a better twist than this movie actually did.
But clearly that wasn't the case.
No, but again, she's another problem with this movie where in these type of movies, when you have a quirky, weird character like Vanessa or Afton. Wait, he's not even Afton. I forget what his name is, but he's like the...
Well, they do call him William Afton later on.
But later,
he has a fake name to start. Yeah.
Yeah, can't remember what it is.
I think it was Cameron.
Maybe. But those characters, those kind of quirky, weird characters, they need justifiable reasons for why they're weird beyond them being the villain, because otherwise you're just giving away the end. Like, they don't do a good job of explaining why it's possible that these characters could be acting weird otherwise. So all you're left with is going, well, she's involved somehow. Because the way she kept talking about the animatronics, and then when she was like, isn't this just the best thing ever? Do you want to dance? Like, she's clearly like fucking insane and has something to do with this whole thing. And like, obviously she's still like trying to help him a little bit, but like also is still tied to it. But like, it's
I also
very
thought
weird.
she was just super into him.
Yeah. Was it just a thing where she like gave up halfway because she's really into him or something? I don't know.
Also, Matthew Lillard's fake name in that movie is Steven. Or Steve Raglan.
Steve, that's right. Steve A. The dream sequences felt like something that could have been expanded upon and used really effectively. So, for example, I'm putting my writer's hat in the ring, okay? This is what I would have done, right? You set up this thing where the dreams keep repeating, right? Burger, ketchup, drink, fall over. Well, you can't have a burger without ketchup. The mom. Kid, plane, drives away. All they had to do was make it, especially for a horror movie, is make it more and more insane, right? So it's like the drink falls over, blood is pouring out of the soda, right? Okay, ketchup, it's blood all over the fucking burger. It cuts to the mom and the mom is screaming, "Can't have enough ketchup!" Cuts to the kid and he's carrying like a real life-sized plane. Like it's a dream. You can make horror shit that makes you go like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, because the way they were shooting it felt like they were going to do more with it. They had these extreme close-ups of the soda and the extreme close-ups of the mom. And it's like, I'm waiting for more. And it literally just shows us the same dream sequence like 8 times. I'm not exaggerating. Yeah. You had a loss for words.
It's one of those, like, there's just so little to say about it, because anything I feel like we're saying at this point is just like,
I think there's plenty to say.
Maybe the expectations were set so high with what the games were able to do.
Well, here's the thing. There must be something to say, because we're the outliers. This movie is loved. This is like, the way that I feel about the Mario movie is how you feel about this movie. Do you know what I mean? You're an outlier here. Like people love this movie. I'm
just like, it wasn't a horror movie.
And it wasn't a comedy. It wasn't funny when it was trying to be.
Almost like they had a montage. Have you ever seen a montage in a horror movie?
No. It's literally like baby's first horror movie. You know, like if you're a mom who wants to show your 5-year-old a horror movie, but doesn't want them to be actually scared, you would show them this. Right? I mean, and because they even have, like you said, they have the scene where the guys break in because they want to make Mike look bad. Maybe make him lose his job, so he has to give up Abby to the aunt. With that whole backstory, which again, the aunt is just unrealistically evil. Like, she doesn't know what art and imaginary friends are. Like her
she's like Cruella de Vil level of just
unrealistic evil. Like, she literally says, like, what sane person, what non-mentally ill person draws pictures all day and is talking to their make-believe friends? And it's like, you mean a 10-year-old with imaginary friends?
But yeah, so her, I was like, seems very far out there for a monthly check.
It's like that.
How much is that monthly check she's even getting? I don't think they're like million. Clearly, it's not enough for Mike to be able to pay the bills. So,
froze again.
Oh, I also felt like the motivation was very. We back?
Hold on. Looks like we're back. I'm just trying to figure out why that's happening. And I'll close Spotify just in case.
Spoofy.
Should be okay. All right, I'm sorry. Okay. Did it just freeze again? No. Okay. Do that last thought.
I just felt like the motivation for the aunt was very, very shaky. Again, how much money is she getting from checks when Mike isn't even able to pay the bills with it?
Mike should have actually been a piece of shit. That's my opinion. Like, actually have an arc for this character. Like, make him like a drug addict at the beginning. Like, why not? Like, yeah, make him a good person. But make him someone who, like, they try to establish that by having him beat the shit out of that guy randomly.
But I kind of got it. I say he overreacted in it. But if you genuinely felt like a child was being kidnapped, and you're a security officer.
I don't think I would tackle him into the fountain and punch him in the face.
His brother got kidnapped.
That's the thing that makes it make sense. Of course.
Exactly. So, but again, it's like, to your point, other than that, he's the same guy. He's trying hard to take care of his sister, which is all good things. But it's like he starts here, and then he just has this much room to grow, because other than coming to the conclusion of, I need to focus on you. You're what's important because you're what's still here. He doesn't have too much development, but it's also because they didn't create a need for him to have development.
And that is such a bullshit thing, because the only time that we are to understand that he does this is when he's sleeping. So he's saying that he's not there for her and he's not always in the past, but he's only doing this when he's sleeping. So like when he's awake during the day, he's there for her. He's trying to make money at his job. He's trying to get her to eat. Of her. He's making breakfast for her.
She's happy. She's treated well.
Well, like she's not happy. That's part of the thing. But he's trying. He's trying to.
Well, she's happy. She's happy being with him. It's not like she doesn't want to be with him, and he's trying to keep her from wanting to leave and go off with.
It would have been a better twist if it's like he needs to convince her that he's a good person, so he brings her to the Five Nights, the Freddy's place. Wouldn't that be that makes way more sense than her just being like, I want to come with you. Like that, just randomly. One day she's like, I'm coming. It's like, if he's a piece of shit and then has to convince her that he's a good person after some catastrophe happens, and he's like, hey, well, why don't you come to work with me tonight and you can play with the animatronics?
Well, I will say this. The reason why she ended up going was because the babysitter died. Because he didn't take her when she wanted to go.
But she just randomly goes, I'm coming with you tonight. I'm saying the motivation for her to go could have been more beyond babysitter dead, she wants to go. Like, there's no character development. None. Nobody has any character development at all in this movie. No one. Like, they try to make it seem like Mike has a development of letting go of his brother's past, but the whole dream thing is such a flimsy thing to hold on to in that I don't know.
And not just that, he gets the clarification he was looking for when he figures out who does it. So it's also like,
true. It works.
It's also like he doesn't just learn that I need to accept and let things go. It's like, oh, well, now I figured it out. So now I don't have anything to worry about.
The real allegory for that, again, like I'm not a genius, okay? I'm just a person who understands how stories work. That's it. That's all you have to be. What would have made more sense for that lesson to be learned is if something in the waking life, when he's not sleeping, if he actively chooses to not do the dream, and then notices something in the actual, like, Fazbear location itself that reveals that
like
guy's
something
Afton.
That belonged to his brother or something, and then something of the guy that's Afton,
Because then it's like this whole thing where it was right in front of you the whole time, but you were so focused on the past that you couldn't see it. Like, it could have been something on the desk. What if it was like the plane? The plane could have been sitting on the desk, and then one day he finally looks at it and goes, wait. And realizes,
the desk I've been sleeping on this whole time. It's been right.
That just gave me chills. That just gave me chills, bro.
Or even if like the toys, like the awards, the trophies you can get, are all things that he's taken from his victims, and
he decides to stay up one night and he's playing a vending machine or one of those claw machines, and inside the claw machine is the fucking plane, and it's like, whoa, well, the night I decided to stay up because of my daughter, because which is brought up where the Vanessa's like, I didn't know you had a daughter.
Yeah, she's like, because I don't. There was two loose ends that I don't know if one is a loose end, but one thing that just didn't make sense, and then there's like a gaping loose end. I don't know if maybe you caught something that explains it. So at one point, the animatronics somehow fucking spirit transport to his house, and they fuck up the ant, and then they get into a taxi. So here's the scene. A taxi is randomly sitting outside their house. The little girl gets into that taxi, and the taxi driver goes, "Where to, little lady?" To like an 8 to 10-year-old girl. Mm-hmm. I don't think taxis are supposed to do that. The only thing I could rationalize is that he saw the Freddy get into, but he looks shocked when Freddy actually gets into the car, which tells me he didn't see anyone there. He thought he was just going to take this little 10-year-old girl in the middle of the night somewhere fucking random. Also, why is a taxi hanging out in a residential neighborhood in front of someone's house?
Because he's a YouTuber, Mitchell, and they need cameos from YouTubers.
Oh, that was a YouTuber?
Apparently, yeah. Apparently that's like a FNAF YouTuber.
So that was the one thing where I'm like, it didn't make any sense. But like the biggest like thing they never, did they kill the aunt? They never talk about the aunt.
I think, doesn't she say something like, she'll wake up tomorrow or something like that? Or I thought Abby said something.
No, I think it's a kid that says, "Don't worry, she's just sleeping. She'll wake up tomorrow."
Yeah. But is that true?
But they never show her again, and I'm assuming because they kill everybody else that they probably killed the aunt. But that never comes up.
That's a good point. They definitely killed that aunt because they tried to kill her. So why would they tell her the truth that they didn't kill the aunt if they were attempting to kill her anyway?
But then there's no mention of, oh, the aunt died in your guys' house. Like,
no, of course not. Of course not, Mitchell. You're really making this sound like a 6 out of 10. I'll tell you that much. You're really.
Am I? I'll say this. I think you can definitively say that Willy's Wonderland was better than this.
I don't know. This is one of those weird scenarios where it doesn't make any sense, but it kind of breaks the laws of physics where upon first watch, if you've never watched either of these movies, right, you'll probably like FNAF more on your first watch because you're going to walk away from it going, yeah, that was a movie. And it was kind of good. The acting was good. The set designs, the music, the soundtrack is pretty good. It doesn't really fit to the horror theme, but
no.
Sure, it fits thematically because they force it down your fucking throat, but it's fine. Yeah, I kind of forgot the point I was making, so it must not have been a very good point. It's a bad movie. What was I saying?
You were comparing it to Willy's Wonderland, and you were saying it's a weird area.
Yeah, I got so distracted by how bad FNAF is. But that's my point. Yeah, it's like you would walk away from this one probably liking it a little more. But if you were to watch both of them again, you'd probably be like, well, Willy's Wonderland is just dumb, stupid fun that really is bad and just doesn't hold up really, but whatever. It knows what it is. And FNAF is just something that tries so hard to be something like monumental and like meaningful and modern, and it just doesn't work at all. So when you watch it again, it's like a fucking nightmare. I don't know. I can't say which one is better. Genuinely can't. I think I gave them both a 3. I may have given Willy's a 2.
I think you gave Willy's a 2.
So I might have to budge this one down to a 2. But it's a 3 for now because it's shot better. It's a movie. That's the only thing I could say about it, is that it's a movie.
I just wanted a horror movie at the end of the day. It was also something where when Golden Bonnie came out, I was like, oh, I bet that's William Afton. And so he's going to try to shock it, but it's not going to work because he's alive. And then like literally the next fucking scene. You just pissed off
so many. You mean Springtrap?
Springtrap.
Golden Bonnie. Yeah. Dude, you just got canceled, bro. Again.
I'm not having a great day.
Because they also like, it's all, and again,
they telepath everything. They tell you, they literally heavily imply. They telegraph. That was like not telepath. They telegraph everything, like right before it happens. And nothing happens where I was like, oh,
no,
it was just
baby's
like,
first movie. Yo, it's literally it's like it teaches you how to analyze movies. Do you know what I mean? It's like, in a way, it might be a good thing because for children who watch this, like, for example, on TikTok, I fell into the FNAF fucking algorithm for a little while, and there was one video that had like 2.5 million likes, right? So that's likes. So God forbid how many views and shit it had on it. But it was the clip of them playing the song, close your eyes when you fall asleep, sleep, when you're next to me. And the
stupid song.
The line
Not
was...
Not stupid song, but for the movie.
Yeah, the line was, did anyone else notice that this song directly relates to the main character? It's because in his dreams, he's trying to find what he's looking for. And there's all these people like, bro, I thought the same thing, but I wasn't sure. And like, freaking out. And it's Baby's first movie. It's like, yes, you did it. You did it. You found a theme. Good job.
We're telling you the story of the movie and this song.
Yeah, but that's a great song. Like you were saying, it is a good song.
Yeah. It's nothing about the song. It's just how it's used in the movie. It didn't even feel like Willy's Wonderland. At least they came up with their own fucking songs.
Wait, did we even mention this? What song played at the end of Willy's Wonderland that I couldn't? Freebird. They played Freebird at the end of Willy's Wonderland. That's shit right. Was so funny. I'm sorry. That was the...
But again, even that fit better than I felt like.
Better. Somehow.
Because at least it's at the end of the movie. You already have the movie in the summary. This is just to send you off.
Yeah.
This is like 2/3 of the way through the movie of he's having nightmares and there's ghosts after his sister. Like, that's literally what it felt like it was. All right. I don't know. So it wraps up with they defeat Afton. I guess I kind of liked how they kind of connected to the game where this Springtrap suit collapses on him, but he is alive at the end and gets locked behind the door. It's
disappointing.
I was so excited for this movie. And I don't know, maybe I'll watch a MatPat video that explains things that happened and I'll be like, oh, that's what was actually going on. But I can't imagine what explanation that they could give that forgives the movie problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it doesn't deserve to be forgiven for lore. It's kind of like my thing I was joking with you about with like Willy's Wonderland. It's like, I don't care how much background stuff that you can insist upon that makes it better. It's like, well, I watched the movie. I know what it is. You know, like movies like Donnie Darko, where when you watch them, they might not make 100% sense, but the movie is well made. It is inherently a well-made movie. It's written well. It's fascinating to watch. It's a mystery almost at its core. So, like, even though it's not mystery based. So, like, looking into things later is exciting because you're learning more about it and they make the movie more enjoyable to watch again. I hate it how movies nowadays use that as a crutch to be like, well, if the movie's not great, if people look into the lore, they'll realize why it is good. And it's like, no, that's not what Donnie Darko did. Donnie Darko was already a good movie that used the lore to make it a better experience afterwards. And yeah, some of these movies just... They Southland Tales it, which is written by the same guy who did Donnie Darko. It's like he shot himself in the foot.
Yep. Do you have anything else to say about this?
If I'm going to nitpick anything about the story anymore, it's just that I don't really understand the drawing logic. Like, she had to draw... That
was never established for them to be able to understand and see.
Because they make it clear that her drawings are clearly like memories or like dreams that she has that are connected to these things that happen, but they're not prophetic. They're not things that like cause things to happen.
It's never established that like that's the only way that the animatronics can communicate, because she talks to them and tells them things and they're like, oh yeah, okay. So she couldn't have just said it.
Yeah. No.
They didn't hear him talking.
They're
and
not
be like,
watching what's happening right now. Yeah, exactly.
Like the whole thing was unfolding in front of them, and it wasn't until she drew the picture of it that they realized, like,
No, it's absolutely insane. All right, yeah, no, I don't got much more to say.
All right, final rating. Do we want to do a countdown or do we want to?
Let's just do this naturally. We clipped the other one for TikTok. We're good.
This got changed for me.
Oh, okay.
It's a 4.
Ooh, damn! A whole 2 points.
It's because this. I feel like it sets the expectation of a horror movie, and it doesn't deliver on that.
No.
The loose ends, like the fuck happened with the ant. Situations are so telegraphed that there's no suspense. There's no point where you're like, oh fuck. 4.
Yeah, it's not scary. It's not even thought provoking. If it was gonna lean more into being like a heady, lore heavy kind of thing, that's fine. But it didn't. It tried to, didn't. It's messy. I think my theory is that they weren't sure if they would make enough money for a sequel. So Scott wanted to put everything from the series that he could into this one movie, just in case it became the only movie that's in the FNAF realm, right? You know what I mean? Because Scott's the type of guy where he doesn't like leaving loose threads. He's literally made entire video games just to tie up loose ends.
It's what I've liked about it, but it didn't work for the movie.
No, because in this movie, he clearly was like, hey, just in case this is only one movie, we need to put everything as possible in here. But if there's a sequel, we leave that open-ended as well because, you know, we have that little moment where Abby's like, can I see my friends? And Josh Hutcherson is like, well, you never know what might happen. No, you cannot see your ghost friends that murdered our aunt. No. Move on.
Okay.
3 out of 10. 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm bumping it down. It's the same as Willie's. Yeah. I'm putting it at the same as Willie's. 2 out of 10. I can't believe it actually started as a 4. When I left this movie originally the first time, I was like 4 out of 10. It's not terrible, but it's not great. It's okay. Now, I'm just kind of like, it's a disservice to the fans. It's a disservice to horror movies. It's a disservice to
your cow.
Movies. Yeah, Desano on my cow, Desano on you. Yeah, well, that was quite an adventure, man. We're on to our next suggestion, I believe. So
we
this
are,
is your
and
turn.
I'm actually on a 50-50 split between 2 movies. And the reason why is you've let me know before that sometimes having things spoiled can incite inspiration to be more curious about things.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You know what? Fuck it. You made me watch this movie. Tyler, you're going to watch
I didn't think it was that
Naruto
bad when I first saw it. Oh, no.
to Boruto Generations, the movie.
Oh, God.
Now, spoilers for anybody who watches Naruto. This movie takes place after the entire Naruto series and is kind of like the first thing that was really meant for the Boruto series. So, Tyler, Naruto, Boruto, Next Generations.
Okay.
And maybe, just maybe, you'll be like, well, hold on. This is so good that now I have to watch the series.
Now I have to invest 400 hours in my life.
Is it likely? No. But is it possible? Well, that's just a theory.
God damn it, dude. I'm gonna be so confused. I'm gonna be so confused. Okay. Yeah, all right. You realize what you're doing though, right? There's another facet to this. Are you ready to hear me give a Naruto movie a 3 out of 10 if I don't understand it?
You're not. It's a good movie.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. So we're testing this. Is Naruto versus Boruto the next generation? I know that's not what it's called. The next generation hold up on its own. I guess we're actually learning. You know,
that's the other
this
thing,
could be an
right?
experiment. Yeah.
Is this movie able to hold up? Because there's other movies that would happen in the Naruto series that are also not necessarily canon. So you could look at them at their own movie. But I think because the idea of this movie, and it's the only kind of insight, I'm not going to talk about the movie itself. This movie is to set up and explain what happens for the next generation. So there's a lot less involved for the whole initial series. So yeah, we're going to see how that movie holds up for somebody who has not seen the series.
Yeah.
I think that's actually going to be interesting.
I made you watch Puss in Boots 2. You never saw the first one, so
that's true.
Made you dive in.
Yeah.
Well, you've already made me watch The House of the Dead at the End of the Street 2. What the fuck was that movie called, dude? The Dead the Dead of the House at the End of the Left of the Road of the Boulevard. Prozac.
Oh, that's a whole other kind of movie, though. That is a real life ghost hunting movie.
But I had no context. All right, and I think I gave that movie a 2 out of 10 too, if I'm being honest. All right, okay, guys. Well, there you go. If you don't want to be spoiled for Naruto and Boruto
Generations, it's just Naruto Boruto Generations.
It's not confusing at all.
No, it's Boruto Naruto Next Generations. I got it confused.
Okay, I still thought there were 2 colons for a second. All right, that's fine. Yeah, if you don't want to be spoiled for that, make sure to watch it before next week's episode, where we'll talk about it. And I dodged a bullet today. I haven't watched another episode of Takashi Kashi at all, brother, and you haven't said a single thing. So
it was
thanks
halfway
for
through this
Have
episode I had realized.